We're on a mission to win the UEFA Champions League with Dinamo Zagreb in the Ultimate Glory Hunter Challenge. We've just won the Croatian League, which lets us take part in the Champions League qualifying rounds. This episode, it's time to step up a level and complete another milestone. Let's go to the Champions League stage, or maybe even the knockout stages. Of course, we won't do it without preparing our squad, especially because after winning the league, everyone wanted to sign half of our team. We let our backup keeper Albin Skenderaj to Atalanta, and replaced him with Christian Lut for half the price. We also let go Ante Karaula to Vicenza for just over 20 million, and Adnan Barjaktarevic to Manchester United for 25 million, which is also Croatia's new transfer record. By default, we've been given 18 million to sign new players, and I had a clear vision. I wanted to sign young, talented players, mainly from around Southeastern Europe, to develop them in the next 2 or 3 years and then attack the Champions League trophy. One of those players is a Bulgarian centre-back, Georgi Gramino from Levski Sofia, who we signed for 6 million. The other defender is Tine Hozian from Celje for 1.5 million. We also signed Ivan Medved from Slovenian side Mura for 1.6 million, but he's staying in Slovenia for this season. Semesionot San Martin from Voluntari in Romania for 2.5 million. Except he's staying in Romania, if that makes sense. So how did we start the new season? With injuries to both of our defensive midfielders, Babok and Mirchev, and European adventure coming up, it was obvious we would take a hit in terms of league performance, and we did. It took us 5 games to win our first match, a 4-0 against Istra, after which we got back on track. And after the first of 4 rounds of games, we were second in the league. But now it's time for our main mission. We want to win the Champions League with Dinamo Zagreb, but we have to start from the second qualifying round. There, our first opponents are the Romanian champions, Universitatea Craiova. The first leg in Romania was Jenic's show. He scored a hat-trick and gave us a commanding 4-1 win. In our home, it was Max Bergman's time to show up, as he scored the brace, which led to a 3-1 win. We advanced to the third qualifying round, and it's time to meet our former team, Ferencvaros. While managing in Hungary, we actually played Dinamo Zagreb in the Champions League playoff. Unfortunately, we lost. Can we win the aggregate this time around? In Zagreb, it looked like we were going to lose again, this time with the players in the blue jerseys. But one of our former players, Stepo Mokoena, decided to give us a helping hand. And then, goals started to roll in. 15 minutes after scoring his first goal, Grgica Jenic did this. The second leg was much less eventful. Max Bergman scored a goal, but it was offside, and Supala Purise gave Hungarians some hope by scoring a penalty. But the team from Budapest couldn't do more, and we qualified for the Champions League playoff, where FC Basel from Switzerland awaited us. One thing I did not expect was us absolutely demolishing the Swiss champions, but it somehow happened. We scored a total of 4 goals in the first leg and dominated the game. The first leg advantage and a goal from Usman Jara in the return leg gave us a lot of comfort. Basel equalized, but it changed nothing in this aggregate. We qualified to the UEFA Champions League stage. Our fixture list is giving us some hope to try and mix something up in the competition, with games over Genk or Copenhagen, but nothing more. Fabrizio Romano gave us the odds to win at 10,000. We wanted to prove him wrong from the very get-go, starting with a debut against Genk. But Jasmin Avdic had some other ideas in mind, and Miroslav Mirchev decided that 1 red card in this game wasn't enough. Obviously, the red cards did not help. We lost a goal after a counter, and we lost our opening match. On the other hand, things were looking very promising against Villarreal, but our left back Dumancic left acres of space for Wieland, who scored 1 goal, and 80 minutes in, he found a lot of space again, and scored another. This wasn't the start to the Champions League we wanted, but we remained hopeful, because against Arsenal, we thought we were finally standing a chance. Jukic fights Vidovic with acres of space, and he finds the net. We're taking the lead over Dinamo Zagreb. To the right side to Jala, who potentially has been fouled by Beckford. He knows how to score penalties, but he does not do it today. James has been offside here, but the ball didn't get to him, and therefore there was no offside, and Iñaki at Xeberia. Martinez with a cross to Mensah, short post, and Iñaki with another goal. This time it was way easier. We will be having yet another Champions League loss. We were close for once, but of course we had to fumble it. We weren't in a good position before the game against Ajax, and in it, we left way too much space for Emmanuel Braff, who opened up the scoring for the Dutch. Though Bergman quickly equalized, Ajax had a corner, and this time it was Josip Kontek who messed up. He tried to make it up with a penalty save, but this didn't help us create any chances. And therefore, we were the only team with 4 losses in 4 games. We could still change it though. Against Copenhagen, for the first time, we were declared the favorites. Come on lads, if we have any chance of scoring points, it's today. But of course, Kontek with yet another mistake on goal. Graminov on the right side to Bosanac, back to Vidovic. Vidovic with a strike to the shared post. We've scored our first point in the Champions League this season. What's even bigger of a deal is that against Sevilla, we are also declared very slight favorites. But even with that in mind, we still wanted to help Sevilla win. But thankfully, we've seen a miss of a century. This was a wake-up call. So big of a wake-up call that minutes later, Antonio Vidovic gave us the lead. More chances followed, but Max Bergman just couldn't find the net. Girgica Jenic though could, capitalizing on the defensive error. And just when I was about to bring on the subs...
Well, there's a long ball through and... Oh my god, an insane goal! I've just seen the most insane goal!
Speaking of which, you can also subscribe. And meanwhile, Jenic scored another goal from a recycled corner. Also quite spectacular. I've never expected this result to happen, but we somehow did it. We've won our first game in the UEFA Champions League stage. Unfortunately, against one of our former clubs, Paris Saint-Germain, Miroslav Mirchev has done it again. He thankfully has Josip Kontek as his teammate on goal, who saved the penalty from the hosts. And we even scored! But Vidovic was offside. However, despite having only 10 men on the pitch, we still held on. And when it was looking like PSG's goal was inevitable, after it just cleared the ball away, that ball went to Girgica Jenic, who won on a 1v1 against the defender, placed a low shot and surprised the keeper. The sensation was real now. Maxim Picak almost doubled the lead a minute later, and he is thankful that his miss didn't affect the result. We achieved yet another sensational victory, and going to the knockout playoff sounded possible. Eintracht Frankfurt, our final opponents in the league stage, are not going to give an inch though. They're also on the verge of qualifying to the knockouts. Macic gets past one defender, gets past the other defender, finds Medved back. Picak gets that ball, gets the rebound. We're taking the lead over Eintracht Frankfurt. Bosanac tried to make a cross. Just play it to the left. Just play it to the left. I don't want to see this flair again. Bosanac finds Bergman, who scores the second. Dumancic finds Medved. What can the Slovenian do? He cuts inside to Jukic. That's third in the 94th minute. I mean, that's an insane storyline already. So we somehow sneaked into the knockouts. That's only the second time Dinamo was there in this save so far. The first time, it was in the second season. With that in mind, we should also be doing quite well in the league. Why are we in second and 3 points behind Osijek? Well, the reason is simple. We kept dropping stupid points because we had to rotate the squad. Just like a 1-0 loss to Šibenik or a 1-0 draw to Bielovar. Thankfully, Osijek is our only competition this season. The rest is just too far behind. We got a draw against them during the winter. This might be the sign we have to spend some money to secure a league title. We have 60 million euros in our transfer budget. And I've decided to make even more money with sales. Ocampo, Liber and Kolic all left us. And Johan Rodriguez went to Wolverhampton for a release clause. But the amount of Rodriguezes in Zagreb did not change. Gerardo Rodriguez came to us from Uruguay. On the left back slot, I signed Francesco Casqueja. My priority for this position was Ivan Markowski, but he chose Juventus over us. And I think it was a blessing in disguise. We also called both Jonut San Martin and Ivan Medved back from the loans. With reinforcements, we are finally able to retake the lead in the league, 23 games in, when we won against Istra and Osijek lost to Šibenik. We also quickly lost the lead 2 games later, because Šibenik likes to cause trouble to the big two. We then took back the lead in the very next game, after demolishing Lokomotiva Zagreb, which led to Lokomotiva sacking their manager. With 9 games to go, we're back on top of the league, with just 1 point of advantage over Osijek. But before our direct encounter against them, it's time to look back into the Champions League. We're in the knockout playoffs, and our opponents in this round are Arsenal. We narrowly lost to the Gunners in the league stage, but can we turn our fate around in the stage where we cannot make mistakes? Takes control of it, passes to Thomas, but we try to clear it. And thankfully, Kontek was there to stop the shot. Finds Jara. He makes a dribble. Tries to make a cross. Grygica Jenic with a goal. At Xaberia. He drives into the area and equalizes. And it's Usman Diarra who will deliver a cross. That cross finds Diallo. Diallo with a header. We're in the lead again. But Arsenal are in a rush here. Tadic tries to clear it. Javier Thomas with a top bin strike. And it's going to finish with a draw. And I'm actually saying here, it is far from over in London. We're still waiting for an action on the right side. It's Thomas with a cross to McLaren. Mariano versus contact, top bins. Avdic not able to get him back. Gościniarek with a fantastic strike, the Polish international. And Diallo makes a pass to Pizak. Pizak with a chance. Consolation. Finds Gościniarek on the left again. It's Rivas with loads of space. He finds nobody, but he makes a cross again. And Maicon Hein finds the third and ends this for us. Despite our loss, this was a wild ride anyway. I expected maybe an odd win in the league stage, but we somehow found our way to the knockouts. This run showed how much potential do we have, and that we might go for the win sooner than we expect. Speaking of potential, 4 of our players made it to the next gen list, and I'll be reluctant to see any of those players leave for the big leagues. We can bring the big leagues to Zagreb again, but we won't win the Champions League without qualifying there first. Thankfully, Croatia is now ranked 15th in the coefficient rankings, so the second place also gets a chance to qualify for Europe's elite. And 2 other clubs, Hajduk and Lokomotiva, also massively contributed to the ranking, with the former going to the round of 16 and the latter even to the semi-final, both in the Conference League. But for us, winning the title was at stake. The deciding game? Again, the one against Osijek, which was a game of set pieces. We got a penalty, which Antonio Vidovic converted. Then, still in the first half, our rivals hit the post, but a mess in the box led to Kasman's equalizer. At halftime, I brought Usman Diarra on the pitch, and he caught up an injury. But it didn't stop him from shining once again. However, 92 minutes in, our hearts were broken. Andrzej Petrovski got a pass to an open space from a free kick and equalized. In moments like this, you desperately look for a hero. So in the last-ditch effort, we had a free kick that was cleared. However, we quickly recycled the ball. It found Usman Diarra, who launched the cross. In the box was Maxim Pizak, who last season saved our eternal derby against Hajduk Split, scoring a 93rd minute winner. The winner that was crucial for us to win the title. Today, Maxim Pizak decided to do it again. This win gave us a comfortable gap we needed over our title rivals. A gap so comfortable, we lost to Hajduk Split, got a draw against Rijeka, and got knocked out by Osijek in the cup semi-final, which made it a title race. Our side won 2 more games against Istra and Gorica, and Osijek, well, they collapsed. They lost to Šibenik, Lokomotiva and Bielovar, and with 3 losses in a row, they fell too far. And we defended our crown with 3 games to go. It was a massive season for us, as we reached 2 European milestones. We got to the league stage and also participated in the knockouts. Hopefully, the next season only brings us more success. And we have the resources for it. We have 81 million euros in the transfer budget to be exact. Couple smart moves, and you can go for it all in the very next season. Especially since we got an insane bid for Miroslav Mircev. 45 rising to 60 million from Bournemouth would shatter our transfer record. Mircev rejected it. However, Bournemouth could still get Max Bergman for 11 million. Abdoulaye Diallo also left for Arsenal for a release cost of 8 million, and Brajovic went to Willem II for just over a million. We have so much money that we have to use them. So I signed 2 talented players, Josip Szpechar from Lokomotiva and Jechven Kostik from Lviv, for a total of 25 million. Our adventure in Europe again started in the second qualifying round. Our first opponents were Hungarian champions Sopot, who we easily won twice against. Then it was Košice, the champions of Slovakia. In this aggregate, Grygica Jenic scored 3 out of 4 of our goals, winning us the aggregate 4-1. And in the playoff, it was Dinamo Kiev. At home, we won despite being down to 10 men. But away, we only got a draw. And thankfully, despite multiple of wasted chances, we held the 1-goal lead in the aggregate. qualifying to the league stage again. We've been given an okay-ish fixture list. We can win against Slavia Prague or Fortuna Sittard, but reaching the knockouts will again be tough. The champions of Czechia were our first opponents in the league stage. We won 2-1 against them, thanks to Maxim Pizak scoring straight from the kickoff after we conceded a goal. Then it was Lazio, and we lost this game 1-0 after a late goal. Against Manchester City, our statistics weren't that bad. Apart from the stat that matters, we conceded 2 goals, one after a free kick and one from a deflected corner. Thankfully, we played much better against Juventus. A quick brace from Grgica Jenic meant we were comfortably in the lead. So of course we conceded 2 goals in the second half, and the view of losing this game was looming large. Thankfully, 92 minutes in, our centre-back Nebojša Stefanovic became our hero and gave us a crucial win. The match against Fortuna Sittard ended with our easy 3-0 win, after a brace from Geraldo Rodriguez, but we still finished this match down a man, thanks to Miroslav Mirčev. Porto was another of our concerts, with another comfortable 3-0 win over the Portuguese men. Vito Pirpic Bosanac decided the best course of action when playing at Anfield was to tackle the opponent. Before that red card, we still conceded the only goal, and given Liverpool's advantage, I'm surprised it only finished as a 1-0 loss. We finished the league stage with a stalemate against Monaco. Avdic's only goal was ruled out. This draw helped us finish 14th in the league stage, and in the knockout playoff, we will play Lazio. The domestic league, however, was going well, but not as well as we wanted. In the winter, we were in the lead, but we were leading Lokomotiva Zagreb by only 2 points. We thankfully extended that lead in the direct encounter after a 93rd minute own goal. And speaking of winter, this was the time when we let go Carlos Ocampo, this time permanently, to Granada. Wisław Janko Babok to Slavia Prague for 2.5 million, or Ivan Medved to Tottenham for 15 million. Most of it in all the clauses though. We also again got insane offers for Miroslav Mirčev, and I could not refuse the 50 million bids from Lille and Milan. Mirčev chose to go to Italy and shattered our transfer record. I have decided to only sign Karlo Igor Bukvashevich from Istra, just to make sure we have the numbers in midfield. Despite the sales, we still reached our goals domestically. Our only loss in the league in the spring was against Osijek, and we dominated the league. We won it with 5 games to go and 21 points ahead of Lokomotiva and Osijek. We also won the Croatian Cup in the derby against Hajduk Split, 12-1 on aggregate. But now it's time to find out, can we win, or at least go far, in Europe's elite? Lazio are our opponents in the knockout playoff round. We lost 1-0 against them in the league stage, but with our rising form, we could now leave no chances for the Italians. Szpechar. He finds Jara in the penalty area, and we're scoring the first goal 2 minutes in. Stefanovic this time. He finds Kostiuk. Kostiuk makes a cross. Grgica Jenic with a goal. It will stand. We have a massive win. It gives us a lot of room to work with in our place. Finds it back and is about to make a cross. What kind of cross he tried to do? Graminov in the area with a shot to the far post. How it turns out, because Jenic finds Fona. Fona with a shot. 2-0 against Lazio. And we've lost against them in the league stage. What's going on? He's looking for a cross. We tried to clear it. And that ends up with a own goal from Cascea. And Van Barneveld. Perella makes a shot, thankfully saved by contact. And it's a throw-in just by the byline for Lazio. We're letting more and more chances for them. Let this victory be a sign of things to come, whether this season or in the next couple of years. However, now it's time for our biggest test yet, a round of 16 tie against Barcelona. If we win this aggregate, we're ready to go for it all, even this season. Now the ball is being sent to Luis Carlos. Luis Carlos finds some space for Ishigaki, makes a cross to the far post. Only to Jenic. Jenic with a strike hits the crossbar after the 2 added minutes. Jara. Jenic potentially fouled. And now he's taking the spot kick, which he converts. We're in the lead over Barcelona. Vidovic tries to cut inside, but has been tackled by Peralta. Peralta now with possession. Finds Luis Carlos. He's offside. And that's massive news. But unfortunately, we're looking at another Barcelona highlight. Luis Carlos would have been offside. What a strike. What a strike from the Croatian. Antebellum. If we get the leading goal, we have to then focus on defending, because Vidovic somehow scored it into the top beds. What a strike, by the way. I'm cautiously optimistic. We've won over Barcelona. We've won one game over Barcelona. We can win the second. Between those Champions League games, we played Gorica in the league. We comfortably won 4-0, but this result was shadowed by devastating news. Our star winger, Gerardo Rodriguez, suffered a heavy injury. His damaged cruciate ligaments eliminated him from the rest of the season. That means, in the second game against Barcelona, we have to cope without him. Can we keep our result without the Uruguayan? Ishigaki finds Shippers, and this time he has way too much space. And he equalizes the aggregate. Now advances to the right side. We might be losing. Let's just wait. Contact with a fantastic save. Bellion. Ulaners was offside. Graminov with an inch perfect tackle to stop this. But it's not over yet for Barcelona. Nieto. Not fouled. Not fouled. Not fouled. You can do this. He does not. Pizzak finds the ball. He finds San Martin. He finds Jara, who's now out wide. He finds Jenic, who's been stopped by the keeper, unfortunately. And Jara has a free kick opportunity. Jara, just over the crossbar. If he scored like he did last season against Sevilla. Unfortunately, we're still not on the level required to win the UEFA Champions League. But it's always great to cross another milestone. This time, it's the round of 16. Real Madrid won the trophy in the final, leaving it late against Arsenal. But in the Conference League, we also had big, but this time great news. Hajduk Split played in the Conference League final and almost won it against Bayern. But Bayern reversed their nightmare of 1999 and scored 2 goals late to secure the victory. However, this Hajduk's run wasn't the only good news. Lokomotiva Zagreb reached the round of 16 of the Conference League, and Osijek went to the knockout playoff round in the Europa League. With this, we were 7th in Europe this year in terms of coefficients, finished this season's 5-year period on 12th, and will start the next on 9th. That means we'll go straight to the Champions League playoff round instead of the qualifying rounds, and if we're in the top 10, we will even go to the league stage. In season 27, we will reach the year 2050. Could we go for it all, halfway through the century? I think we're only improving as a team, and we're getting closer to our goal step by step. Though of course, we became much stronger this transfer window. It ended up with us signing Aladin Çeken, a centre-back from Besiktas for 7.5 million, he later went to Sociedad for a loan, as well as his countryman, a winger Ahmed Kara, who was a free agent. Another winger in Michael Mkize from South Africa joined on a free after his contract with Mamelodi Sundowns ran out. Lovre Vukovic joined us from Lokomotiva Zagreb for over just 5 million, and Fran Roko Darajkovic came from Gorica for almost 6 million. The notable departures are Josip Kontek, who went to Liverpool for 15 million, David Dumancic, who went to Osijek, Francesco Casquilla to Partizan for a loan, and Jonut San Martin, who left us for Hamburg for 14 million. We also received 60 million offers from Georgi Graminov, from Manchester City and Barcelona, which I rejected. Kontek was replaced by Marcel Baumbach, previously a number 1 keeper at Schalke, and the left backs were replaced by Ruben Dario Alvarez from Colombia, as well as Zdenek Lupik from Juventus on loan. This amount of transfers begs one question. Is our squad a bit too big? This will be verified by our performance in Europe. Our opponents in the Champions League playoff are PAOK Saloniki from Greece, and let me say, this game went far away from what we've planned. At home, we are even down a goal, but Ahmed Kara scored a 90th minute winner. Away, we lost 1-0, and this led to a penalty shootout. Thankfully, Marcel Baumbach saved the penalty, and Maxim Pizzak gave us the league stage with a nasty panenka. Our fixture list? It varied from Manchester City or Arsenal to Anderlecht or Galatasaray. We still had a 9,000 to 1 chance of winning the UCL, and it showed against the Belgians. Despite taking the lead early on, Anderlecht scored 2 goals in the first half and started our campaign with a loss. We also couldn't get the result against Monaco. Couple of wasted chances led to a stalemate. But against Manchester City, Ousmane Diarra found the net again, and we genuinely thought we're closing on our maiden win. But of course, Manchester players scored not 1, not 2, 3 goals, and we lost yet another game. Same fate met us when we played against Borussia Dortmund, but this time the German side made sure to score 3 goals first. But things seemed to turn around against Riem. Grgica Jenic gave us the lead late in the first half. However, Felix Brandt cancelled it, and it looked like we're going to end up with yet another draw. But Maxim Pizak has already saved us a bunch of times in our stint with Dinamo. And guess what? He's done it again. A week later, against Galatasaray, Grgica Jenic again gave us the lead. And this was the only goal. Unfortunately, we did not keep a draw against Arsenal, losing 2 goals in the second half. This means, with 1 game to go, only a win against Atleti will give us a chance of going to the knockouts. And now we're on verge of getting eliminated, and only a win gives us a chance for anything here. Jara gets past the defender. Alvarez finds Vukovic to the middle. Jara in the box. Grgica Jenic with an opening goal. Waits for the right moment to pass it. Goes to the right. He looks for a cross. And Ahmed Kara with potentially a crucial goal. That's 2-0 in the 18th minute. But it won't be enough, I'm afraid. I mean, it's unfortunate. We are genuinely on the verge of qualifying to the league stage. But the goal difference knocked us out way too early. At least, we had a massive lead in the league during the winter, which we kept until the end of the season. And that's great news, because we will start the next Champions League campaign in the league stage. No qualifiers this time around. But that's the story for the next episode. If you enjoyed, you can hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I will be very grateful for that.